Hello and welcome yet again to the channel. Back again. We are, of course, it is Friday, and we are here to talk about Buffy again. This time, season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Season 2 kicks it up with very big notches right here. This season is one of the best seasons of television ever to hit our screens, and we are talking about it today. Again, same format as last time: the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then we'll talk in general about the season, and then you'll hear my season review. So, good, bad, the ugly. So yeah, season 2 we are starting with the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ugly. I couldn't say that quite properly there. And we are starting with the very good of this season, and I say this very good because it is very good. It was very difficult, however, to choose just one episode to be in my top spot for this season. But of course, I had to go with my favourite character, and that is Spike, and Spike's introduction into the series, of course, being School Hard. This episode is bloody brilliant. You know, you get an enclosed space episode. There is nowhere for them to go. There is nowhere for them to run. There is nowhere for them to hide to a certain extent. Brilliant episode and brilliant introduction to a character. What is it I like about this episode? Like I said, the enclosed space thing of it majority being set in the school. Wonderful. I love that. And I was very surprised, like, that rewatching Buffy, I'm very surprised they never did a mall episode where they were stuck in the mall. Or there was something big going on in the mall. It never happened. And I was very surprised by that, especially, maybe it's because the film as a sort of a couple of key scenes in the mall, and maybe that's the reason why they tried to avoid doing what they've already done in what is considered probably the poorer side of the Buffy universe in the movie. Of course, no real connection to the series, so we can't really diss on that. But yeah, it's a brilliant episode. Spike's introduction is just wonderful. You know, for me, like, I know it sounds like I'm sucking his cock right now, but Spike is one of the best characters to ever hit Buffy. He's a complicated character, but he's a brilliant character, and he's really well played by James Masters. Considering the fact that it comes into it, he's a vampire, which doesn't sound all that exciting. Oh, look, a new vampire that may be a little bit of trouble. But people loved him. The fact that they only planned him to be in 2, maybe 3 episodes for the series blows my mind, because what this character gave us, especially later on, is pure gold. Spike is, for me, the best character in the series. And this episode, it being his introduction, is brilliant. The introduction to Drusilla as well. Another character that, like, the way that she... Again, I'm sorry for names. I can't remember names of actors all the time. But the actress who plays Drusilla just brings something new to Buffy, in the sense that, yes, she's crazy as fuck, but it works. It works so very well, and I absolutely love this episode for those reasons. And of course, again, we get this whole thing where Buffy has to take them down one at a time, stealth. Otherwise, people die. You know, Snyder is an absolute see you next Thursday in this episode. And, you know, I think that it's very weird, because by the episode's end, you find out that Snyder actually knows a lot more than he's telling on about what's going on in the world, and yet he's still quite dumb to what's going on in the world. He knows about vampires. The whole thing with the cops, where they're like, you know, what do we say? gang on PCP. But it's because they know that they're vampires. But yet he doesn't know about the Slayer. There's no knowledge whatsoever of this good side. Would that have changed Snyder's character if they had told him that there's a Slayer, that there's somebody who deals with these vampires? Would that have changed Snyder's character to the point at which you actually would have enjoyed Snyder helping Buffy to a certain extent, knowing that she's a Slayer, giving her free roam of the school? It would have completely changed the way the series is conceived, and the way that those first 3 seasons would have gone down very differently. Obviously, Snyder is this hard-hitting principle that you cannot get away with anything, and I think they wanted to stick with that rather than give Buffy another character that knows all of it. They're not needed, you know? You don't need that. You've got Giles for that sort of thing. But yeah, they all get enclosed in this school. And it's just brilliant, you know? There's some brilliant scenes in there. Some stuff that will confuse you later on down the line. Stuff with Angel and Spike. This has always been something that I've found very confusing in the Buffy universe. I do apologise. There's works going on at my flats at the minute. So I apologise if you're hearing that right now. But there is a lot in the series to do with Buffy, not to do with Buffy, sorry, Spike and Angel. The whole thing with the Sire is really complicated down the line, simply because Drusilla, we actually see Drusilla is the one that sired Spike. So what did Spike mean? Well, I've always conceived that Spike didn't say you were my Sire Man. I think he actually says you were like my Sire Man. But I think as time goes on, it's sort of like that thing with like the Vader line, Luke, I am your father. The line is actually, no, I am your father. And I think people just hear what they want to hear and what they get used to and what they think it is and what it actually is. And I think that this is the case. I could be wrong there, because I think on my rewatch I realised it actually does say you were my Sire Man. But I'm sure that when I originally watched it and that, it was like, you were like my Sire Man, and it's just so confusing down the line. But that doesn't hurt this season, this episode at all. Or the series in general, you know, there's these little nitpicky continuity errors that don't necessarily affect the series too much. I think that's the biggest one, is the whole Sire thing. Because Dawn is obviously explained as being, you know, not real. But, you know, when it was announced that Buffy would have a sister at the start of the season, you're like, hang on a second, no, she's an only child. She's always been an only child, but then obviously it gets fixed later on. This is something that never gets fixed, and it's a shame, really. But it's not the be-all and end-all. As I say, it's not a big story point for this episode, or the series in general, so it doesn't matter in the end. You know, if it came down to that Spike needed the blood of his Sire, you know, like something going on like that. Don't know what happened to my voice there when I said blood. But if there was something like that, where there was a story where Angel Spike needed the blood of his Sire, which actually does come up. Oh my god, it does come up. I forgot. Let's rehash that a little bit. That does come up. That Spike's Sire to repower Drew. No, it's Drew's Sire to repower Drew. But then Spike's used any. Yeah, no, I was right. Very confusing when you think about it. There's certain key points in there. But yeah, School Hard is a very good episode. As I said, there was a few other contenders in this season. But for me, School Hard is the absolute best of the season. I mean, the series end is brilliant, but you know, you always get it where it's like people put these lists together of their favourite episodes. Not necessarily with Buffy, but with other shows. I've seen it before, and they always give it to the finale. But that's how the finale is meant to be conceived. It's meant to be like that. Whereas the episodes in between are not, and don't have so much beef to it and meat to it, that it deserves this spot, because it's an episode. outside of the big storyline of the series. Again, Soulless Angel, very big part of Buffy, and one of my favourite storylines overall. I think it is my favourite storyline of the whole series, having Angel turn bad. And it's definitely enjoyable going along the way. So, we are moving on now to Go Fish. Which, you know, I've just spoiled it for you. I was going to say the bad. But Go Fish is such a terrible episode of the series. It's an episode that, you know, before I said, for my last video, that, you know, episodes like The Pack and Never Kill a Boy on the First Date, that they're skippable, but you don't skip them. Go Fish for me is a go skip episode. I just find it really weak. You know, Sam Worthington's in there as well, which I think he's a brilliant actor. I absolutely love him as an actor. He's brilliant in Prison Break. Love him in Legends and The Flash. But for me, it's such a weak storyline in the Buffy series. It just doesn't convey enough for me to talk about it. I just don't like it. There might be people out there that absolutely love it, but for me, this episode is just piss poor from start to finish, unfortunately. And I'm not getting into it because I don't like talking about the bad episodes, because I love Buffy so much. I don't want to hate on it. But for me, this is probably the one episode that I actually do hate of the series. And on last episode, the last video I did say that I never hate on Buffy. For me, this episode is a hateful, is a absolute hate. You know, I just can't stand Go Fish. It needs to go fuck itself. It's just not for me. As I say, other people might love it. It's part of Buffy. I still watch it, but I don't, because I never see the point of skipping episodes. I don't get the whole idea of skippable episodes. For me, Buffy doesn't have the episodes to skip. You don't skip Buffy because it's Buffy. But for me, Go Fish is one of those, it's like, when I come to it, I'm like, it's just in the background. I'll go and do the washing up, some washing, maybe even record a video while it's on, just to get past it. But that's just the way I feel about Go Fish, that I don't want to talk about it anymore. Weak episode, the weakest episode of the series overall. That's just my opinion. All of this is just my opinion. One thing I did forget to do for my last video is there are spoilers ahead. I will make sure that spoilers is plastered on the screen at the start of every one of my video. If you haven't watched Buffy yet, where have you been living? Under a rock? You know, have you been a potential slayer and it hasn't come to your fruition yet to be the slayer? Therefore you haven't watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So it is. Go watch Buffy. Yeah? It needs to be watched. It's a series that needs to be watched. Anyway, we move on now to the ugly. I'm sorry, that was a little bit, you know, it's my opinion. If you don't want to watch Buffy, don't watch Buffy. But do, you know, but you know, you don't have to take my word for it. You know, the 19 people who are watching this video right now, or the 19 subscribers that I've got right now, they may have already watched Buffy and they're just listening to me doing this little tangent. Go watch Buffy. You already have. Good on you if you have. If you haven't, that's all I'm leaving it at. Anyway, the ugly side of this season. And there's a lot. Angel turning bad. Angel killing Jenny is probably the biggest part for me. It's what I've got down here. But there are so much ugly in this season. Yeah, it gets uglier in season 6. But Jenny's death is just so hot, melting, and so very upsetting. That I just can't, you know? And it's not even that, it's the way he kills her. He snaps her neck. He snaps her neck. He's a vampire, and he snaps her neck. There's just so much that breaks your heart during this episode. And it was one that I wanted to put as the top episode of the series, but for me, it's just too hard. It's just such a hard episode to sit through, because you know it's coming. You've seen the series before. She gets the orb of Vesela, and she's getting all these, she's getting all the translations for the spell to reinstate Angel, and Angel kills her for it. You know, it's so upsetting. I get that Angel needs to send a message to Buffy, because at this point, you know, Angel is a bastard. He's Angelus. You know, he's not Angel, he's Angelus. Let's clear that up. That when he's bad, he's Angelus. It is not Angel Xander. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Xander. Anyway, there's just so much that it's just such a difficult part to talk about as the series goes on. Jenny's death is one of the hardest deaths that we go through. Of course, it's not the hardest death that we go through. The hardest death that we have to go through is Joyce. No doubt about it. And Tara is up there as well. But Jenny is third fiddle in this instance. Using that word a lot today. Fiddle. Don't know why. Fiddly? Fiddler? Anyway. Gavlar. Sorry. Tangents again. Can't help it. Yeah. Jenny's death is just so upsetting, and it's the way that Giles finds out. Wow. He thinks he's about to get lucky. This guy's walking up the stairs, gets the roses. Just I'm going to put on screen now. I'm going to shut up for a minute. Put on screen now Giles' face. Yeah. Giles' reaction to this is just so... It just kills me to look at. It's just so hard, and it's so upsetting, and it's just the end of the world for me when Jenny dies, because Jenny is such a lovable character. Yes, she has done some wrong. The fact that she was there to watch Angel, I think it was. She got sent to make sure that Angel was kept in check, because this is the most he'd been in, the limelight, so to speak. Because for the previous years, and you get more of this story in Angel, for the previous years he's been this rat-eating vampire alleyway, no trouble whatsoever for anybody sort of character. Then, of course, when he came to Sunnydale and helped the Slayer, they had to send out somebody from the Amish community, I'm saying Amish, whatever it is, to sort of watch. It's not the Amish community, it's the Gypsies. But, to watch over Angel and make sure that things aren't, endangered. But for some reason, they sort of get a whiff that this is what's going to happen. And then it's all down to Buffy. By the way, that scene as well, when Buffy goes over to Jenny and grabs her neck and just pushes her out down to the table, and Giles is like, Buffy! That's such a powerful scene in this series. I am getting a little bit off the topic of Jenny's death now, and moving on to the sort of talk of the overall season. Kendra's introduced in this season and killed off in this season. All this is, of course, piling on top of Buffy from the point of Jenny's death. Now, from the point of which Angel turns to Angelus, all the way up until the series end, Buffy has had so much to deal with, and she's not dealing with it very well, to be honest. She has to kill Angel in the end, in order to save the world, and she's not very happy about it. Of course she's not, but she's so upset and so distraught about everything. Joyce finds out about the Slayer thing. That's another really good scene as well, when Spike goes over to Joyce and Joyce is like, "How do I know you?" And Spike is like, "Oh, you hit me with an axe and said, stay away from my daughter." It's such a brilliance. I love that scene. But yeah, like, you know, there's so much that Buffy's had to deal with, and Joyce basically says to her in the end, stay away, don't come back, because, you know, Joyce just doesn't understand the responsibility that Buffy has as a Slayer, and she never will. There's never a chance in hell that Joyce can ever understand where Buffy's coming from, and that's the upsetting side of things down the line. But it's very poignant, it's very powerful, it's very much a big point of the series that needs to be established, and it's just, yeah, it's a brilliant season. It is a brilliant season of television. That is the best series of television that we have ever gotten on any sort of thing. I love Supernatural, don't get me wrong, I love Supernatural, and season 4, season 5, brilliant. But for me, season 2 of Buffy just hits it out the park, gets everything right. It turns a good guy into a bad guy, which it does later on, but just not as poignant and not as well. To a certain extent, don't get me wrong, I love Dark Widow. But, you know, here, Angel's turned into the bad guy. It's Buffy's love. It gets turned into a complete and utter bastard. And deal with that is basically how I feel. So yeah, that's it for season 2 talk. I almost said season 7 then. That's it for season 2's talk. The review of season 2 in general. Again, these were score points. This season alone really reflects on the latest score for the rest of the series. 9 out of 10. Big time. Why do I give it one less? Go Fish. Because we got an episode like Go Fish in a season like this. So late in the season as well. Like, so late in the season. But yeah, there it is. Season 2 of Buffy. I'm shocked myself because it is a lot shorter than the last one. Though, obviously, I did say I would put some more effort into the second one because I've got more time to edit. So there is a lot more in this episode, so hopefully it's beefed it up a little bit. But thank you for watching so much. I appreciate all of you who have subscribed to the channel. Please like the video if you like the content. Put some messages in the comments. Just say what you think of these episodes that I'm talking about of Buffy and these moments of Buffy. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Be kind in the chat. There's no need to bitch about it. It's just my opinion. What I think does not go. What I say does not mean it's the be all and end all. It's not the my way or the highway. In this instance, it is my opinion and it's my thoughts, and that's the reason why I do these seasons. I have missed doing this because my channel has become a lot more video games and a lot more of the odd me talking about series. I'm not very good at keeping up with series as they go on. I'm a lot better to talk about series when it's ended, just because I've got a little, I can spend a little bit more time thinking about what I'm going to say, write stuff down. I've got loads of notes of what I've written down. While it might not sound like I have got notes when I'm talking about it, like it sounds like it's just random, but that's the way it is. The tangents sometimes can piss you off, but they're there for a reason, and it's always in relation to the series I'm talking about at the time. The 15 weeks of Supernatural that are coming up after this season. By the way, I'm doing Supernatural after this. Just a spoiler. Boy, that's going to be big. But anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Join me again next Friday for another episode of the Buffy Talk. I absolutely love Buffy. You love Buffy. I love Buffy. Let's talk Buffy. Wednesdays will still continue. Something that I was planning to put in my last video, but I forgot. Wednesdays will still continue to be my random sort of videos. Every now and then you'll get a video game video. And then the next week you might get me talking about what if or what have you. Talk about some of the news that we get during that week. The random videos that you get. Sometimes you'll get 2 episodes. Sometimes you'll get 2 videos on Wednesday. Sometimes you'll get 1. As I say, Trivial Pursuit was last week. whatever I've put for Wednesday, because I'm currently recording this the same time I recorded the first Buffy video. So I have not yet recorded what I'm doing for Wednesday's video that's just gone. But I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you are enjoying my content, because I am trying to up it a little bit. But while I live on my own, things might be a little bit sporadic. But thanks for watching so very much. I much appreciate you all. Check out Facebook, Twitter and Patreon. We're trying to make money, not only to help the channel, but to help me get to Comic Con and give you a banging video, which hopefully the video will be good either way. But, you know, I can buy stuff that, you know, I wouldn't normally buy if I didn't have the money, obviously. But yeah, thanks for watching. I've been Scribbo. This has been Scribbo's Fair. See you next time, folks.
Hello. Xander.
Angel.
Thank God you're okay. Did you see Buffy?
Yeah. What's up with the lights?
I don't know. Hey, listen, I think I have an idea.
I forget about that now. I got something to show you.
Show us?
Yeah. Xander, go get the others.
Okay.
And Willow. Come here.
What is it, Angel?
It's amazing.